guys, this is Liji Maria and welcome to our channel High Point. And today in here we are going to learn about yet another comedy by William Shakespeare known as Twelfth Night. So we are going to learn about the comedy by Shakespeare Twelfth Night in this video lecture. So whatever we have learned in this whole video series, I have given them in the I button as a playlist here. So don't forget to watch other videos if you have not watched it yet. So if you are ready with a pen and paper or with your notepad and pen, then let's begin without wasting time. Okay, as usual, let's begin with a little introduction to our topic of the video, the play Twelfth Night. So there will be, as usual, there will be an introduction, then we will move on to the character list of the play, then we will discuss in an elaborate manner about the summary, and then we will discuss the themes and contents and motives related to this play, and that will be the conclusion of the video. So let's begin. And first of all, let's see the introduction. So there is another title for the play, and it is What You Will. So Twelfth Night by William Shakespeare got another title known as What You Will. Okay, please learn it. So if you are writing a note, please note this point. What You Will is the another title for the play, the comedy Twelfth Night. And this is a romantic comedy by Shakespeare. Romantic comedy by Shakespeare. And the play centers around the twins Viola and Sebastian, and they got separated in a shipwreck, and Viola disguises as Cesario and fell in love with the Duke Orsino. So that is the whole plot, and there are many other characters involved here. So major and minor characters are there of importance. Then something happens, and finally everything resolved. The identities are revealed, and these two separated twins, they reunites. So that is the whole story that we will discuss later when we discuss about the summary. Then meanwhile, Countess Olivia falls for the disguised Viola. That there arises another complication, that while Viola was disguised as Cesario, there is a countess known as Olivia in that place, and Olivia falls for the disguised Viola. So another subplot is there. So now let's see the characters of the play. The important ones are Viola. Viola, a shipwrecked young woman who disguises herself as a page named Cesario. So Viola disguises after the shipwreck. Viola, she is a young woman, but since she is alone, she cannot roam around as a woman. So she disguises herself as a page named Cesario. Remember this name. And this is a play in which the female character is cross-dressed as a man. Okay, usually during the time of Shakespeare, the women characters or the female characters are done by male people only, males only, men only. But here, inside the play, the female character is disguised or cross-dressed as men. I have seen a couple of questions asked about, in which of the plays by Shakespeare you can see from the given list, in which of the plays by Shakespeare you can see cross-dressing by female characters. So this is one among them. Such thing is happening here. And Sebastian, Viola's twin brother, then Duke Orsino. Duke Orsino is Duke of Illyria. So after shipwreck, Viola actually end up in Illyria, okay? And Olivia is a wealthy countess that we have in Illyria, and Malvolio is steward in Olivia's household. Maria, Olivia's gentlewoman, is kind of servant. Then Sir Toby Belch is Olivia's uncle. Sir Toby Belch is Olivia's uncle. Now we have Sir Andrew Ogchick. Sir Andrew Ogchick, a friend of Sir Toby. So Olivia's uncle's friend is Sir Andrew Ogchick. Then Feste, Olivia's servant, a jester. So please remember Feste. Feste is a wonderful character, and he's more or less like he does many word plays, and he does many quibbles, and he mainly entertains Olivia, Orsino and all. And so, Fest is a major character about Shakespearean fool, Shakespearean fool characters are very famous. So Feste is one among them, and please remember his name. Okay, Feste is in Twelfth Night. Fabian is a servant in Olivia's household. Antonio, a sea captain, a friend to Sebastian. Then Valentine and Curio, gentlemen attending on the Duke, a servant of Olivia, a sea captain, a friend of Viola. At least to remember the important characters, okay? So that if you remember the storyline correctly, if you listen, so don't skip the video. If you skip the video, what will happen? You will miss important points. Like I am, whatever comes in my mind, the extra points, I will tell at that moment. So may not, if you are skipping and just writing whatever you are seeing in the screen, then you will miss out some points. So don't do that. Keep calm and be patient, and maybe you will get some important points while we are discussing. So yeah, let's move on to the plot of the play. So we will have scene wise, act wise, detailed summary of this play, because among the comedies written by Shakespeare, this is one of the most important comedies, and it is actually a mature kind of comedy, we can say, written by Shakespeare. Okay, let me tell you before that, if you want a systematically chronologically arranged materials for UGC net JRF English, then you are in the right place, and you go and visit my website. The link to go there is there in the description box, or simply you can Chrome, you can go to your Chrome and just type www.highpoint.in. there you will get into my website, and you can have the free trial and you can start learning, and there you will get 900 plus audio lectures and 300 plus downloadable PDF materials, and also previous and practice question papers. More than 3000 questions you can find there, and as many times as possible you can attempt all these question papers, and you can come back to all these materials. So don't miss the chance, go. And a 15% off is also going on there, so you can have it. So it's always better that you start learning earlier than to wait for the notification for the exam. So let's begin without wasting time. So Act 1, Scene 1. So Orsino, Duke of Illyria, opens the play with a high lyrical note. So we can see when the story opens, when the play unravels or exposes, we can see that Orsino's Duke of Illyria, and Duke of Illyria, he is actually opening the play with high lyrical notes, and he is in love with Countess Olivia. See, this is a one-way love, and he is sending messengers after messengers to Olivia in order to woo her on behalf of him, and to express his love to Olivia and all, and his messenger and express his love to Olivia. His messenger Valentine returns from Olivia, and he informs the Duke that Olivia has taken a vow to mourn the death of her brother for a period of 7 years, and that she will not see anyone. So actually, she just makes up a kind of excuse in order to avoid the messenger from Orsino, and she says that she is going to mourn over the death of her brother for a period of 7 years, and she is not going to see anyone anymore. Okay, and he thinks that one who loves her brother so deep will be able to love him too deeply. Thinking it, he goes to the bower to indulge in his love thoughts. So he, instead of being, being at frustration, Orsino thinks otherwise, right? Other way. Like, he thinks that, one who can, like Olivia loves her brother so much, that why she is going to mourn for him for a period of 7 years. So one who can love her brother so deeply can love him so deeply too. So thinking like that, she must be eventually in love with Orsino. Orsino has such kind of hope, and he goes to the bower. Bower means room, his chamber, to indulge in his love thoughts. So there ends scene 1 of Act 1. Now Act 1, Scene 2. Now the scene shifts to Viola. Viola reaches the coast of Illyria. So after the shipwreck, Viola and her twin brother Sebastian, they got separated, and Viola thought that her brother must have died by now, as she has no knowledge about his whereabouts. So she reaches, finally after the shipwreck, she reaches the coast of Illyria and is separated from her brother and heard about Orsino and Olivia. So when she reaches at the coast of Illyria, she heard about Orsino and Olivia. Being a woman, she has some disadvantages there because of her sexuality or gender. So she decided to disguise as a page, and she went to serve the Duke Orsino. Okay. Now, Act 1, Scene 3, next. So, the location of Act 1, Scene 3 is Olivia's house. Olivia's house. Sir Toby is whom? Olivia's uncle, and Maria is her servant. So, Sir Toby and Maria are conversing each other. So, they are talking, and Maria accuses him of keeping a foolish knight, Sir John Andrew Aguecheek, to be the wooer of Olivia. So, Maria is actually, she has some wit that we will see later, that Maria is a person who is clever and who is, who is very clever, and she has some wit to prank others by understanding their weak point. Okay. And while Sir Toby and Maria, they were talking, Maria accuses for keeping the company of a foolish knight, Sir John Andrew Aguecheek, and it's like Sir Toby is giving Sir John Andrew Aguecheek a false expectation that one day Olivia and Aguecheek, they will be united, and Aguecheek is, because of that encouragement, he pretends and he is like wooing Olivia. And Maria knows that that is not going to happen. Okay, so that's why Maria accuses Sir Toby to keeping a foolish knight like him. Then Aguecheek arrives and addressed Maria as Mistress Accost without knowing the meaning of the word accost. Okay, Aguecheek is such a kind of dumb knight that we can find here. Act 1, Scene 4. Next. Viola disguised as a page boy named Cesario. So now Viola, since she heard, she decided to become a page boy to Orsino, she disguised herself as a page boy and took the name Cesario. And now she serves, in the name Cesario, she serves Orsino, and Orsino asks him to go and woo Olivia on behalf of him. So, like he was used to do earlier with other messengers and all, Orsino sends Cesario to go to Olivia's house, Olivia's place, and woo her and flirt with her or woo her on behalf of him. But Viola is already in love with him. So we can see in Shakespearean comedies, this is one of the major things that we can see here. Like the moment the major characters, they see, they will fall in love. Okay, so see, the moment Viola saw Orsino, she falls in love, and the moment Olivia sees Viola disguised as Cesario as a young gentleman, Olivia falls for Cesario without knowing this is a woman in disguise of a man. So this is happening in every other comedy by Shakespeare. That is one of the major characters that we or feature of Shakespearean comedies. And also we can see that considering the major female characters of comedies of Shakespeare, female characters especially, the whereabout their parents will be very little, and also they will lack mother characters. They won't have any mother figure in their life, and maybe there will be father, but there won't be any mother for them. Okay, so these are some common features of Shakespearean comedies, especially comedies. Okay, and Viola decided to woo Olivia for Orsino, but marry him for herself at the end. Next, Act 1, Scene 5. This scene opens with Maria talking with Festus. Festus is a kind of fool here who was absent from the house, and Festus making puns. So Festus is a person who makes puns, word plays, and also he is entertaining other characters. Okay, lords and countess and Orsino also. Then Feste is also very fond of quibbles and making fun others and all. So Maria is, since Feste was not there for a long period of time, Maria is talking to Feste, and Olivia along with Malvolio arrives, and as they were talking, a messenger from Orsino Cicerio arrives. As Maria and Feste were talking, Malvolio is the steward of Olivia, arrives there, and they were talking, and while these three people are talking, a messenger from Orsino arrives. Who is that? It is Cesario only, Viola in disguise. And Olivia sends Malvolio to talk to the messenger of the Duke. So Olivia is not at all interested in Orsino, okay? So Olivia sends Malvolio to talk to the messenger and to know why he has arrived, what is the purpose and all. The description of Malvolio about Cesario made Olivia to meet him. So this is the person. Cesario is a new person here in Illyria. Cesario also appeared as a very charming and handsome young man. So by hearing the description of Cesario by Malvolio, Olivia wanted to meet Cesario. And Cesario began to deliver an extremely poetic speech, and Ophelia lifted her veil. So by hearing the extremely poetic speech by Cesario, Olivia also lifted her veil. At that same moment, Olivia fell in love with Cesario. Going on, Olivia instantly fell in love with Cesario, who is actually Viola. So this fact is not known to Olivia. Olivia is ignorant that Cesario is not a man, but Cesario is actually Viola in disguise. Okay, and she tells her answer to Orsino's love is a no. So why Viola is there? Why Cesario is there? Cesario is there to express and woo Olivia on behalf of Orsino, right? But she tells a no as usual to Orsino's love expressions. And when Cesario is about to leave the house, Olivia sends him her ring through Malvolio, pretending that he left his ring in the house. So, and after that, after hearing her answer, Cesario about to leave the house as he was departing from the house, Olivia sends him her ring. Okay, her ring through Malvolio, pretending that Cesario left his ring in the house. And she does this as she wanted him again in the house. So why Olivia did such an act? Because she wanted Cesario to be there again and again in her house. And by seeing this, Viola instantly understood that Olivia has fell in love with Cesario, and Cesario is Viola in disguise, and Viola doesn't know what to do to unravel all these complications happening here. So there ends Act 1 of the play. Now we have Act 2, Scene 1. The audience come to know that Viola's brother Sebastian is alive and who was saved by a captain known as Antonio. So now the scene shifts to another place, and in that scene we understood that Sebastian, I mean the audience or the readers came to know that Sebastian is alive, and Sebastian after the shipwreck, Sebastian was saved by a ship captain known as Antonio. Hmm? And he reveals his name as Sebastian, and he is the son of Sebastian of Messalin, and also about his twin sister Viola. Now, Act 2, Scene 2. Malvolio comes to Cesario with the ring and asks him to report the reaction of Orsino about Olivia's rejection. Malvolio is Olivia's steward, and Malvolio comes to Cesario with that ring given by Olivia to give to Cesario, and he asks about the reaction of Olivia about the rejection of Orsino's love. Why? Because Malvolio also has a kind of eye upon Olivia. He also want to woo Olivia and to have Olivia and marry her one day. Okay. And Olivia is a person who has a false impression, positive and great impression about himself. That Olivia believes that he's such a great person and he can actually defeat anyone and he can win over Olivia, even though whoever opposite of him to win Olivia's hand, Malvolio can the personality of Mallory is such a way that he believes about himself. Okay, he believes that he is charming and he has such a charming character too, so that Olivia will get one day attracted towards him. That's why he is interested in knowing, Olivia's rejection of Orsino's love and all. And Viola got surprised as she left no ring with Olivia, and she knew that Olivia has fell in love with Caesarius. And Viola, puzzled about the situation and confessed her inability to solve these all these complications are happening. Now, Act Second, Scene 3, Sir Toby and Sir Andrew eat and drink and be merry. So they are having a very good time and they are eating, drinking, and they are delivering witty dialogues and they are having merriments. And Feste enters and they asked him to sing a love song and he does so. So Feste is a person who entertains everyone and who lives like that. And Feste enters there and Sir Toby and Sir Andrew, both of them asked him to sing a song, sing a love song, and he obeys them. Maria enters and warns them about their noise and bad manners. See, Sir Toby and Sir Andrew, they are making too much noise while they are eating and drinking, having a happy time. So Maria, as the maid of the house, enters and warns them about their noise and bad manners and the noise that they are creating. Okay. So Malvolio comes and scolds them about their misbehavior and goes out. So after Maria, Malvolio also comes and he also scolds them about their, asks them to be quiet and be nice. And Malvolio not at all likes these people, especially Sir Toby and Sir Andrew. Okay, so Malvolio also, complains about misbehavior and he goes out. And Maria then asks them to be silent to hear her plan to fool Malvolio. So Maria is a person who knows about the weak points of persons, weak points of the characters, and can prank them effectively by knowing it. Okay. So Maria asks Sir Toby and Feste and who is there? Sir Andrew also there. So ask them to be quiet. And she got a plan to fool Malvolio. And she tells them that he is very strict and affected and he is also a Puritan. So this is Malvolio's characteristics as far as Maria knows, that he is very strict. He acts very strict and he is very affected and self contained. I mean, only self-conscious person who thinks that he is very charming and he has a very charming character, that one day Olivia will get attracted towards him and one day they will unite in marriage. And he thinks so well of himself that he is sure that he is no anybody who looks at him will fall in love with him. So he has such a prestigious belief about himself that if anybody happens to look at him, that person will fall in love with him, especially if it is a woman. And she is going to exploit this weakness of him, and Maria is going to write a letter to Malvolio in the handwriting of Olivia, and she leaves. So actually, what is the plan we don't know. Maria has a plan to fool Malvolio and Maria tells that to all the other characters present there. And Maria, what she is going to write, she is going to write a letter to Malvolio, addressing to Malvolio in the handwriting of Olivia, and by telling that she leaves. Okay, let's see what is going to happen there. Act 2, Scene 4. The Duke enters with Cesario. Cesario is Viola, and they speak about love. So Duke, Orsino, and Viola, that means Cesario in Viola in disguise as Cesario. Both of them, they are having a talk about love. And Cesario revealed that he is in love with a person who is as the Duke's age. So see, Cesario seemingly very, very young than Orsino. So Cesario, while they were talking, Cesario revealed that he is in love with a person who is as the Duke's age. So that means the Duke assumes that, Cesario being a man in love with a very old woman. Okay. So Cesario advises him that, you have to marry a young woman than because it's like, women are like flowers and they will fade away as they become old. But Cicero says that, as they become old they will be more mature, and so such kind of talks they are having. And in between, Feste was fetched and they heard a song by him. So Feste goes to Olivia as well as to Orsino to entertain them. And then Orsino boasted about his love for Olivia and asked Cesario to go to her to persuade her on behalf of Orsino. Act 2, Scene 5. This is a famous scene where the audience witnessed the gulling of Malvolio. So Maria got a plan to gull or fool Malvolio. So that plan got worked or becomes a reality in this scene. Please remember this scene. Act 2, Scene 5. Gulling of Malvolio happens in this scene. Act 2, Scene 5. Next, Sir Toby, Sir Andrew, Fabian, Maria were hiding behind the box tree. So all these people, they are hiding behind a tree and they are hiding there to watch what all things that Malvolio is doing and how their plan is working out. Okay. And Malvolio enters and thinking as or unobserved, he thinks aloud and act like Count Malvolio. See, one day he thinks and he hopes that he will be united with Olivia as she will be attracted towards him by seeing his physical quality as well as character-wise features. So he thinks that when Malvolio enters there, he thinks that he is alone there, nobody is watching there. He thinks that he is unobserved and he thinks aloud. That means whatever comes to his mind, he is talking, he is telling that aloud and he acts like Count Malvolio. When will he become Count Malvolio? When he marries Countess Olivia. Okay, so he pretends like that. Then he picks up Maria's letter. So as he was pretending like Count Malvolio, he sees a letter there and he picks up Maria's letter. So Maria was about to write a letter in the handwriting of Olivia. So that was the letter. And as they expected, he saw the letter and he understood that the handwriting is Olivia's and he recognized. In the letter, the writer asked from the receiver to wear yellow stocking and his feet must be cross-gartered and he must be smiling at her. So he understood that Olivia has written this handwriting is Olivia's and then the letter must be from Olivia. So in that letter, the receiver of the letter should wear yellow stocking and Olivia does not like yellow color and yellow stockings. She hates it. Okay, and his feet must be cross-gartered and he must be smiling at her. Okay, and he decided to follow every command of the lady that is there in that letter because Malvolio thinks that by doing that he can gain the love and attention of Olivia. And those who were hiding and watching came out and laughed as much as they want. Actually, all these other people, Maria, who actually planned all these things to gully Malvolio, they were hiding behind the tree and they, as soon as Malvolio left, they comes out and they laugh as much as they want. And Maria asked all of them to present when Malvolio appears before Olivia. So Maria, in order to continue this fun and have the full entertainment, Maria asked all of them to be present there when Malvolio comes in this manner before Olivia. And everybody knows that Olivia dislikes yellow color and cross garter, and in her present mood, his smile would only provoke her disgust. Okay, so there end Act 2. Now we have Act 3, Scene 1. Cesario, before entering into Olivia's house, has a small conversation with Feste. Okay, so Cesario, she, as asked by Orsino, Cesario has come to the house of Olivia in order to woo her on the behalf of Orsino. And before entering into the house, Cesario has a small conversation with Feste. Then he informs Olivia about Cesario's arrival, and Olivia herself comes to meet him and expresses her love towards Cesario. And she wants to know his reaction. So after expressing her love, Olivia wants to know what is his reaction. And Cesario tells her that no woman can conquer his heart in love. And after hearing the rejection, even though Olivia was sad, but she asked him to come again to win her for his master. So even though Olivia faced rejection from Cesario, she wants him to come over and over in order to win Olivia for his master, so that she could see at least, she could at least see Cesario. Act 3, Scene 2, Sir Toby and Fabian persuaded Sir Andrew that he should fight with the messenger from the Duke as she lies him and he is the rival in love for Olivia. So now Sir Andrew, he also expects that someday Olivia will fall for him and they'll get married, and Sir Toby also encourages him and gives false expectations. So Sir Toby and Fabian is another servant in Olivia's household, and Sir Toby and Fabian, both of them persuaded Sir Andrew, because Sir Andrew that you should go and fight with the messenger from the Duke Orsino, because Olivia is in love with him. So that means this Cesario is a rival in love for Sir Andrew. So you should fight against him. They send Andrew to write a letter to Cesario, so asking for a duel or a fight. They also persuaded that Andrew should write a letter to Cesario, while Maria comes and asks them to come and watch Malvolio in yellow stockings and cross-gartered and smiling orphans. Act 3, Scene 3. So this is a short scene where Antonio tells Sebastian that he has decided to follow him. So Antonio and Sebastian, they also arrived at the coast of Illyria, and Antonio tells that since Sebastian is not familiar with this place, Antonio doesn't want to leave Sebastian, and he also decided to follow him, and Sebastian thanks him, and in an unknown place he doesn't want to be alone. And Antonio has once offended the Duke. So there is another story happened long back that Antonio in the past, he has once offended the Duke in the sea fight, and this made him feel that he should not accompany Sebastian as it can harm him. So even though he will follow Sebastian, they will go separately and they will get united in some other place. Okay, so because Antonio felt that because that he once offended Duke in the sea fight, maybe he will got arrested, and if he got arrested and if they saw Sebastian with him, Sebastian may also fall in danger. So, they wanted to go separately, and so gives him his purse. So Antonio knows that Sebastian has nothing with him, so he gives him his purse and asked him to meet at the inn known as Elephant after going around the town, and they depart. So that's what happened there. Act 3, Scene 4. It's a scene of girl Malvolio. See how he is standing before Olivia. So it's a scene of girl Malvolio. And Malvolio appears before Olivia, a cross-gartered and wearing yellow stockings and smiling at her. So as the letter says him to be, Malvolio does exactly the same and appears like that before Olivia. And this shocks Olivia, and before she goes to meet Cesario, she asks Maria to take care of Malvolio. So Olivia got surprised by seeing the strange behavior by Malvolio, and this actually shocks Olivia because Olivia hates yellow color and cross-gartered and also disgustingly smiling at her. So before she goes to meet Cesario, she asked Maria to, something must have happened to Malvolio, you have to take care of him. And he in turn acts arrogantly to everyone. So since he did everything that is there in the letter and they are going to united in marriage, so on that belief he turns to everyone and act arrogantly to everyone, because Malvolio dislikes and hates Sir Toby, Sir Andrew, Marie and all. And Sir Toby and Fabian encouraged Sir Andrew to write a letter to challenge Cesario, and Cesario and Sir Andrew began to fight. So Cesario and Sir Andrew, Sir Andrew has written a letter to Cesario to fight against him. Cesario and Sir Andrew began to fight. Then taking Caesarea, Sebastian Antonio appears on the scene and starts supporting. So from here, loads of confusion is going on. Like, Sebastian is also there. And since they are twins, when when Olivia disguised as Cesario as a page boy, she is exactly she exactly looks like Sebastian. So Antonio appears in the scene and starts supporting him. So what happens? Cesario and Sir Andrew, they are fighting, and Antonio sees this. And Antonio took Cesario as Sebastian, thinking Cesario as Sebastian in appearance, and Antonio started to support him. And this was seen by Duke's soldiers. Okay, so Antonio was seen by Duke's soldiers, and Antonio was arrested for the former offense done against the Duke. And Antonio forced to ask for the purse. So Antonio has given his purse to Sebastian, right? And he has taken Caesarea for Sebastian. So Antonio asked for his purse to Caesarea, thinking that it is Sebastian. But Caesarea was perplexed and denied of having any kind of purse from him. And because Caesarea, Viola doesn't know this person, right? But since he mentioned the name Sebastian, Viola hoped that her brother is alive. And Antonio left with a bitter feeling. See, Antonio is there to only help Sebastian, because even though he's aware about the potential threat from the Duke, he is there and he followed Sebastian. But when he asked his purse back, Sebastian, taking Caesarea as Sebastian, he felt very bitter about it. And Sir Toby and Fabian called Caesarea as dishonest and asked Sir Andrew to fight a duel with him. So by seeing this, Sir Toby and Sebastian also felt that Caesarea is a very dishonest person and asked Sir Andrew to fight a duel with him. So next act 4 scene 1. So act 3 ends there. Then act 4 scene 1, confusion prevailing due to mistaken identity. So here also mistaken identity is a great theme going on in these scenes. The clown comes and takes Sebastian for Cesario and asks him to go to Olivia, and he was puzzled because of it. So in another place, Sebastian is there, and Sebastian is taken as Cesario, and a clown comes, and the clown thinks that this is Cesario, but it is actually Sebastian, and the clown asks him to go to Olivia. He was puzzled and confused and bewildered because of it. And just then, Sir Andrew begins a fight with him. So Sir Andrew was again and again encouraged to be in a fight with Cesario. So taking Sebastian as Cesario, Sir Andrew began a fight with him, taking him as Cesario. And Olivia comes and asks Sir Toby to stop and requests Sebastian, taking for Cesario, to go with her. So to that scene of fight between Sir Andrew and Sebastian. Actually, Sir Andrew took Sebastian for Cesario, and Olivia also comes there, and Sir Toby is there, and Sir Toby is the one who encourages Sir Andrew be in a fight with Cesario. So she asks Sir Toby to stop this fight, and she requests Sebastian, taking Sebastian as Cesario, to go with her, and he goes with her without any without questioning anything, but he has many confusion and doubts going on in his mind. And Act 4, Scene 2, further gulling of Malvolio is happening here. Maria and Sir Toby send a clown as Sir Topas the priest. Everyone made Malvolio to believe that he is possessed. Feste promised to give him a pen and paper to write a letter to his lady about the treatments that he got from everyone there. So actually, see, Maria and Sir Toby, both of them, they made a clown as Sir Topas, a priest, and everyone, Maria, Sir Toby, and they all made Malvolio to believe that he is possessed. Okay, something happened to him. That's why all these things are happening. So you have to be, you have to get treatment and all. Fest is the one who comes to Malvolio, and he also asks him to write a letter to his lady, telling about the treatments that he is getting from everyone there. Act 4, Scene 3. And it begins with the soliloquy of Sebastian. Okay, Act 4, Scene 3 begins with the soliloquy of Sebastian. See, everything is happening in a surprising manner in his life right now. And he wondered about the treatment that he is getting from Olivia, and thought about Antonio. So what must have happened to Antonio? He doesn't know that Antonio is arrested, by the soldiers of the Duke, and he also wondered about why he's getting such a affectionate and great treatment by this lady, Countess Olivia, and he also thought about Antonio. Just then Olivia enters with a priest asking Sebastian to go with her to the chapel where the priest can solemnize their engagement. So Olivia enters without wasting time. Olivia enters with a priest, and she wants Sebastian to go with her to the chapel and to get their engagement solemnized. And Sebastian agrees to this proposal. And even though Olivia is very beautiful and Olivia is the countess, and this is a better offer. So Sebastian in an unknown land, what better can happen to him? So Sebastian agrees to this proposal. There ends Act 4. Act 5, Scene 1. Act 5 got only one scene, and it has a single scene in which all the mysteries resolved. Everything got unraveled, all the complexities get unraveled. And the Duke, for the first time in the play, goes himself to meet Olivia, accompanied by Cesario. So, in the whole play, other than in this scene, we cannot see that Duke himself goes to Olivia and woo her or talk to her and express his love. Instead, he sends messengers after messengers and page boys to meet Olivia and woo her on behalf of him. So, for the first time in the play, in the last scene of the play, Duke for the first time goes to Olivia to meet her himself, and he was accompanied by Cesario. And Antonio is brought before the Duke and once again accuses Cesario for taking for Sebastian. So, in between, while they were living, Duke and Cesario, they were living for Olivia to meet her, but Antonio was brought before the Duke, and Antonio saw Cesario there, and he took Cesario for Sebastian, and Cesario got perplexed, and Antonio also accused uh, Cesario for taking him as Sebastian, and Olivia enters and expresses her resentment at Cesario's indifference to her. And Olivia also enters there, and Olivia also sees Cesario, and even though they are engaged and their engagement is solemnized, Olivia enters there and expressed her resentment, her sadness, and her dissatisfaction because Cesario is acting indifferent to her. Now, Cesario, unaware of the engagement, tells that he will obey his master in everything. So Olivia brought the priest as a proof of their engagement. So Cesario doesn't know Olivia and Cesario they have engaged because Olivia engaged to Sebastian, taking Sebastian as Cesario. So a lot of confusion is going on. And when Cesario denied everything, Olivia actually brought the priest who solemnized their engagement as a proof of their engagement. And the Duke condemned Cesario for meanness. See, the Duke sent uh, Cesario to woo Olivia on behalf of the Duke. But instead, Cesario made himself as a lover to Olivia. So the Duke also condemned Cesario's meanness. Sir Andrew and Sir Toby comes to Olivia to tell that they were hurt by Sebastian, and he followed them to ask for her pardon as he didn't know that they were her relatives. So, Sir Andrew and Sir Toby, they were having a fight with Sebastian because taking Sebastian as Cesario, and Sir Andrew and Toby, they come to Olivia to tell about Sebastian, to complain about Sebastian, and Sebastian also followed them to Olivia, and Olivia is currently in Orsino's court. So everybody is there now, and he followed them to ask for the pardon, since he doesn't know, Sebastian doesn't know that Sir Andrew and Sir Toby, they are Olivia's relatives. So Sebastian and Cesario are now together in the house of the Duke, and everyone got surprised to see their resemblance. So Sebastian and Cesario, now they're standing together in the same house there in Orsino's palace. So Sebastian and Cesario, they are twins, brother and sister. So everybody got extremely surprised and perplexed by seeing the extreme resemblance between Sebastian and Cesario, and this explained the whole mystery now unraveled, and Cesario revealed as Viola, and Sebastian is Viola's twin brother, and the play ends with the song of Feste. It is no, it is not clear whether Orsino is also in love with Viola, but Viola already is in love with Orsino, so they must have united, and Sebastian and Olivia, they are already united, and the play ends with the song of Feste. So that's the end of the story. So this story has many complexities like mistaken identities, cross dressing. All these things are important things happening in this play. Let's see some of the themes of the play as the conclusion. Impersonation is one of the major themes going on here. So impersonation brings the whole story alive, and romantic love, secret urges of the people, then disguise and self preservation, self love, false emotions. So Odysseus basically had a false emotion of love towards Olivia. Nothing deep was there. And self love in Malvolio, we can see self love and over possessiveness about self things, and over estimation about one's appearance and one's character. And disguise is a major thing, major theme of the play. In order to have self preservation, they adopt a disguised appearance. So these are some themes of the play. So that's all about the major comedy by Shakespeare. So believe in yourself and don't wait. My next video you can watch either of the videos that is there in the screen, and further I promise they won't disappoint you. And also follow me in Instagram for more savable short videos and study guides related to UGC NET English language and literature. And here is my ID. You can see my ID in the on the screen, and link is there in the description box, and you can message me in WhatsApp, and you can also be a part of my WhatsApp group in order to have daily quizzes and news and updates related to UGC NET English. The link is there in the description box. If that link is not working, you can message me directly to that number given in the screen, and I'll be very glad to make you a member of it. And so yeah, let me meet you in the next video, and don't forget to visit my website www.highpoint.in. Many more things are waiting for you once you join the course, and that's all about it. And let me meet you in the next video, and thank you for your support, and bye bye.